Have you ever sat at your desk, staring at a spreadsheet and thought, is this it? Is this all my life is going to be? I know I have. For years, I was living a life that ticked all the boxes: stable job, good salary, a clear path forward. It looked perfect on paper, but inside, I felt like a stranger in my own story. I was living someone else's dream. And then, one day, I decided to stop. One day, I gave it all up. That day wasn't a sudden explosion. It was the culmination of 1,000 tiny moments of discontent. It was the Monday mornings that felt like a punch to the gut. It was the creative ideas I'd jot down in a notebook, only to close it with a sigh. The final push came during a performance review. My boss was praising me for exceeding targets on a project I couldn't even remember the details of because my heart wasn't in it. He said, "You have a bright future here." And in that moment, all I could think was, but it's not my future. The fear of regret suddenly became much, much bigger than the fear of failure. So, what did giving up everything actually look like? It wasn't as dramatic as you might see in a movie. It was a series of calculated, terrifying steps. First, the financial audit. I spent weeks tracking every single penny, creating a runway budget. How long could I survive without an income? I sold my fancy car for a reliable, older model. I canceled subscriptions I didn't need. I started cooking every meal at home. This wasn't about deprivation. It was about liberation. Every dollar saved was another day I could dedicate to my dream, which was to build a woodworking business from scratch. It was my way of buying back my time. Next came the conversation I was dreading most, telling my family. My parents had sacrificed so much for me to have the education and career I was now planning to throw away. I prepared for disappointment, for lectures, for pleas to be sensible. And yes, there was concern. They asked, "Are you sure? It's so risky." But instead of just announcing my decision, I showed them my plan. I showed them my budget, my business proposal, the small projects I'd already completed in my garage. I didn't ask for their permission. I asked for their trust. Seeing the passion and the planning behind it shifted the conversation from fear to cautious optimism. It taught me a valuable lesson. When you take your dream seriously, others are more likely to as well. The day I handed in my notice was surreal. I walked out of that office building not with a sense of panic, but with a profound sense of peace. The world suddenly looked different, brighter. The everything I thought I was giving up, the salary, the status, the security, felt like a heavy coat I'd finally taken off. Of course, the journey wasn't all sunshine from there. The first 6 months were brutal. There were days filled with self-doubt, where I'd look at my dwindling bank account and think, what have I done? I made mistakes. A big client order went wrong, and I had to work for 48 hours straight to fix it, losing money in the process. My first craft market was a total flop. I barely sold enough to cover the cost of the stall. But here's the secret they don't tell you about chasing your dream. The failures feel different. When I failed at my old job, it felt meaningless. It was just a corporate problem. But when I failed in my own business, it was a lesson. The botched client order taught me about quality control. The failed market taught me about branding and finding my target audience. Every setback was a piece of data, a stepping stone, and the victories, no matter how small, were intoxicating. My first sale to a complete stranger. The first time someone left a 5-star review online. The day I paid my rent for the first time with money I earned with my own 2 hands, creating something I loved. That feeling was worth more than any corporate bonus. One of the biggest shifts was my definition of success. Before, success was a job title, a number in a bank account. It was external validation. Now, success is waking up on a Monday morning excited to start my work. It's the smell of sawdust in my workshop. It's the look on a client's face when they see a custom piece of furniture for the first time. It's having the autonomy to decide what my day, my week, my life looks like. I'm working harder now than I ever did in my corporate job, often for less money, but I've never felt richer. So, If you're sitting there, feeling that same sense of disconnect I felt, let me tell you this. You don't have to leap off a cliff. You can build a bridge. Start small. Dedicate 1 hour a day to your passion. Create that runway budget. Talk to people who are doing what you want to do. The fear will be there. It always is. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. The perfect time will never come. You have to create it. Looking back, the day I gave up everything was actually the day I gained it all. I gave up a career to build a life. If this story resonated with you, or if you're on a similar journey, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Sharing our stories is how we remind each other that we're not alone. And if you'd like to see more about the realities of building a life you love, please hit that like button. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you so much for watching. Now go and start building your bridge.